Namaste everyone. Welcome to Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly spiritual learning program. Acharya Brahmadev has joined us today from Atlanta. As we all know, we are celebrating Sardi Navratri. Today we have the 5th day of the Navratri, but we have the total 9 days in this special Navratri Puja. Why do we celebrate 9 days? Why not 10 days? Why not 8 days? So Acharyaji will explain today what is the significance of 9 in Sanatan Dharma. A short introduction of Acharyaji. Acharya Brahmadev has an inclusive educational background in science, banking from University of Mauritius, management, AB UK, and Darshanacharya Vedic Philosophy, Darshan Yog Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, and a diverse career in financial services, industry, and at RSFA Mauritius. He has been a key resource person for RSFA Mauritius on the universal Vedic values, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intercultural dialogue at various national and international forums. Mauritius Council of Religions, Arya Pratibidhi Sabha America, Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta Community. He is author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issues in English.
Om. Namaste. Welcome, everybody. Let's bring our mind to focus. Sit down straight, back, neck, and head in one vertical line. Body totally relaxed. Deep inhale and exhale. And while exhaling, we are going to chant the main or prime name of Ishvara, God, the omnipresent, omniscient, all just, and all merciful, one and only. Om. Slowly, gently open the eyes and welcome again. I'll be sharing screen with PowerPoint. Significance of 9 in Sanatan Dharma. So if we look from the basics, one of the fundamentals of Sanatan Dharma is the karma philosophy. For whatever good we'll do, we'll reap goodness, and for whatever bad or evil we'll do, we'll reap badness, the negative consequences. So karma basically actions, the free tools through which we perform actions. Manasa vacha karma. Man, vani, or sharir. That is by way of thoughts at the level of the mind, by way of words spoken vacha, and in the context of present day world, we all write more text than we speak daily, so that is also our karma, the words spoken and written, and physical actions. So man, the mind, vacha, vocal, but also written, karmana, physical. So these are the free tools, but we also have free ways through which we perform karma. Krit, karit, anumodit. Krit is what we do ourselves. Karit, what we induce, entice, or coerce others to do. We cause others to do either by luring them or by forcing them to do. Then anumodit, where we give our consent. And remember, consent may be expressed or silent. So if we take whatever we are doing at the level of the mind and what we are thinking ourselves, that is krit, then mind, what we are causing others to think about, to contemplate about, that is manasa karit, and then where we are causing others to give their consent, that is, especially when consent is silence, that is through thoughts. So we get three different ways of karma is being performed through mind. It's same for words, whether expressed or written, and it's the same free for physical actions. And 3 times 3, the permutations and combinations, so that comes to 9 in mathematics. Let's see how 9 is important, not only in the Sanatan Dharma, but for the whole world. We all know, and it is universally acknowledged, that mathematics as it is known today comes because of the numbers that were given to mankind in the Vedas. Yajurved, 18th chapter. So the mantras go into multiples of, that is the odd numbers, then it goes into multiples of 5, and when we go into multiple of 5, 2 times 5 is 10, and starts with a 0, so 0 to 9 makes 1 cycle. The next cycle starts from 10 to 19, third cycle 20 to 29, and fourth cycle 30 to 39. It goes like that. So this loop is bundled because of the number 9. And the mathematics derived from the Vedas, which gives the numbers, it made it simple. Otherwise, others were using symbols or various types of markings, so we had to remember so many things. So 9 being the number that completes the cycle, that's why it is important, and that came from the Vedas, the scriptures of Sanatan Dharma. Let's look at another feature, especially in the case of Navratri. Durga means, from Sanskrit, it's one of the many names of God. It's not one separate God. One of the many names of the one and only God. And Durga means remover of our pains and sorrows. दुखों को दूर करने वाले ईश्वर को हम दुर्गा भी कहते हैं. And we have two words which gives the same meaning in the Gayatri Mantra. One is Bhuva, remover of pains and sorrows. And second is Bhargo, from the word Bharga, which means destroyer of all our ills and evils. And the Yog Darshan leads us to the sources of ailments, dukkha. Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Pad 1, Sutra 30, that is chapter 1 and 30th Sutra. It says, Vyadhi Styan Sanshay Pramada Alasya Avirati Pranti Darshan Alabdha Bhumi Katva Anavastita Twani Chit Vikshepa Antaraya. Now let's look at the word meaning. Vyadhi is disease. Styan is our stubbornness, especially when we tend to say, okay, we'll put it for some other time. We don't want to do it now. The delaying tactics, dullness, procrastination. And this leads eventually to problems, difficulties in life, eventually dukkha. Sanshay, doubt, uncertainty. Even when we have the correct knowledge, but we fail to rely on the true knowledge. Especially in the world of today, we rely too much on multimedia, and we don't know whether the knowledge is true or false. We just spread it further. And that increases doubt, uncertainty, sanshay in the world. And that multiplies our problems multifold. Then pramad, carelessness, negligence. And it's only we tend to be wise of after the event when we see the consequences of our carelessness. The next one is alasya. And often in Hindi, we tend to confound pramad and alasya. Alasya is laziness, lethargy. We know we have to do it, but then we say, okay, that's not my cup of tea, and leave it there. It's a fine division between pramad and alasya. But it's good to understand because it comes at various levels. Then, avirati, indulgence in worldly affairs. We tend to be distracted by what is occurring all around us instead of being focused and look at the essentials of life. The seventh one is Bhranti Darshan, false views, beliefs, identifications, and conclusions. Adherence to blind and stubborn beliefs. One example is we know when we enter a room and we see something hanging. It may be a rope, it may be a snake. But nevertheless, our first thought comes, it may be a snake. Instead of trying to get the true knowledge, and we get frightened, instead of looking into what's that, we just walk away and call for others. So that's false identification. Then adherence to blind or stubborn beliefs. We all know within ourselves God is one. But how come we've divided God into so many identities? God has many names. Each of these other names than all describes one of the characteristics and one of the actions of God. But we've made a separate God out of that. That is Bhranti Darshan. And that is one cause of dukkha, because we see Hindus just fighting because this one believes in one God and the other one believes in the other God, and that is the internal intestinal fighting or confusion. So that is Bhranti Darshan. Then Alabdha Bhumikattva, the fickle-mindedness. We try today, and we know we have to try every day. Like we are running a race, we want to win the race. We need to practice every day. Then we practice today, we put it off for 3 days. We practice there, then we put it off again for another week. And when the race comes, eventually we'll lose. So alabdha bhumikattva, fickle-mindedness. We tend to shift positions. We are not focused. The ninth source of dukkha is anavasthitvani. It should be anavasthitvani. So mistake there. Sorry for that. It's the instability, imbalance, not being able to be still. One example of that is somebody who is learning to drive. First time he will look at the clutch, at the brakes and everything. But after 2-3 times, then he forgets about these come automatic. He just focuses on the road. But if he, instead of focusing on the road, then he keeps looking at the clutch, at the brakes, etc., definitely he'll never be able to learn proper driving. So things like these occur in our day-to-day life. If we learn our lessons and take the appropriate measures, we'll remove ourselves from these sources of dukkha, afflictions, pains, sufferings, and sorrows. Let's look now how do we go about trying to remedy the position as per the Yog philosophy. Vyadhi, disease. The first cause of disease is because we don't control our senses and we go into overindulgence. And as per the Ayurveda, the first gate of disease is the tongue, the taste buds. We tend not to feed the body to satisfy the needs of the body, but satisfy the needs of the tongue. Yadi. And then mental illness is also there. We know life is made of ups and downs. When the ups are there, we feel elated, very joyful. And when the downs are there, instead of trying to look how to move out of the downs, we just go into the depressive mood and mental illness starts. So we should be careful in life, have proper diet, have proper mental exercises with some meditation, some pranayama just to give sufficient oxygen to the brain, etc. So we'll be there. Styan, the dilly-dallying attitude. We need to be focused, and for focus we need to practice dhyan, meditation. And if we are careful on the first steps of yoga, yama, niyama, social and personal discipline, and when we start putting discipline in our life, that dilly-dallying attitude also will just move out of our life. Sanshay, doubt. Let's be anchored on true knowledge. We all know Sanatan Dharma, anchored on the Vedas. as the scriptures, the revelation to mankind. We have all volumes of writings ancillary to this. But then when we have to cross-verify, let's cross-verify with the Vedas. It's like that in life. We have the benchmarkings. Like we know when we are buying food, this has so much sugar, this has so much salt, this has so much of saturated or unsaturated fat, and we've been advised by the doctor not to take this, not to take that, and to be careful with that. But nevertheless, we say, okay, we doubt the doctor's competencies and go beyond the bounds. So Shanshay, for that we need true knowledge. Whether it's true knowledge on the worldly level or true knowledge on the spiritual level. Then pramad, carelessness, that we need to train our own mind. We need to always be keeping the positive attitude in life. Will be always motivated if we move more with a positive attitude in life. We'll always have the drive, the enthusiasm to do things. Alasya, laziness, is the same. With a positive mindset, positive attitude, positive self-motivation, self-encouragement, will go make it through. Avirati, indulgence, that requires control of the senses. And niyama, or the 10 tenets of Dharma from Manu, will help us to achieve that self-control. In fact, the Sanatan Dharma tells that the student life, phase where the child is growing and as a student, brahmacharya is recommended. And we should be careful about, one, what are the food and drinks, second, what are the places that we are bringing the children to, etc., etc. There should be moderation in everything, and once we teach moderation to kids, they'll start developing self-control, self-restraint. The seventh one is Bhranti Darshan. Whenever we are faced with a situation like there's a rope or a snake we don't know, let's get the lamps lighted or get a torch and look at what it is eventually. If it's a snake, it has to be pushed away, so let's push it away. But don't leave it there because some other person can come and that may harm the other person. So we need to be empowered with the ways and means of how to move out of false identifications and conclusions. Like when we know things are uncertain, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's be sure of what it is and then make our own conclusions. Alabdha bhumikatva, constant shifting of positions. As I said, when we are planning to run a race, we need constant, regular practice with lots of passion, devotion, dedication. So that is the solution also proposed by Maharshi Patanjali in the Yog Darshan in terms of, the sutra says, always be constant, regular in your practice with lots of passion, lots of dedication. And we say that with great sportsmen in the world. So why just not copy the way they practice, and we'll move out of the source of Anavasthit Tattvani. They are always stirred up. Let's practice dhyan, meditation, to be always in the mindful state, or be ever aware with total awareness during our life hours. Simple things which we need to do and pay attention. So if we take one per day and pay attention, contemplate on each of the items, one daily, at the end of day 9 will be the remover of our own dukkha, pains, sufferings, sorrows. So we'll be the dukkha of our own life. We'll be master of our own destiny. It's up to us to see how we create that, or else where do we lead ourselves. So I'll end here for today, wishing all in Navratri we will spend time, contemplate on the sources of dukkha in our life. And as I said, Durga says, the remover of ills, evils, remover of dukkha. So let's work out to be the Durga of our own life. Thank you for attention. Just as a reminder, if you have any query, you may send a message on WhatsApp. The number is on the screen. 770-666-3455. Email us hinducenterofatlanta@gmail.com, or you can send us a message across Messenger on Facebook, Hindu Center of Atlanta. And for previous sessions, you may also review them on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, Hindu Center of Atlanta. So thank you for your attention. Leave it to Dhananjay for the conclusion.
Thank you, Acharyaji, explaining the meaning of the significance of number 9 in the Sanatan Hindu Dharma. Acharyaji's previous videos, you can find it on the YouTube channel at the Center of Atlanta. Acharyaji picks up a topic every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. and he explains about that topic every Sunday, 9 p.m. to 9:30. We have children's and young youth programs on every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Sanatan Dharma Simplified. And on Saturday morning, we have the satsang every Saturday morning at 10:30 to 12 noon. So you all to join on this program. Acharya will lead us for the end with the Om Japa.
That's great. Body totally relaxed. One deep. Namaste, everybody. Have a nice week.